Hi, and welcome to this introduction to Brother's BRAdmin Professional 4. This is an application for managing devices and monitoring their statuses. You have two tabs available, a Devices tab and a Task tab on the top, and you have a Settings option on the right. By clicking the application settings, you'll be able to change the language and many other settings. Let's first of all look under the Devices tab. Under the Devices tab, you'll be able to see all the devices currently associated with the application. Okay. If you wanted to sort or quickly find machines within all the devices, you have two options. You can either create smart filters or groups. Let's create a new smart filter. So first of all, we'll need to give the smart filter a name. So CS Vision in this example. Connection method will allow us to choose whether we want to see network and USB connected devices. Then we have an AND OR option, which I'll come to later, and then we have conditions. So under conditions, for this example, we can add a condition using location as the criteria. So we can say from location, if the location contains the word CS, it should be included in the smart filter. So once I say OK, I should immediately see 3 devices found, and if I click on the smart filter, only the 3 devices linked to CS in its location will be displayed. Now I can come back and edit the smart filter. And then with the AND function, I can add a second criteria. And I can say, for example, the model name should contain 9570. Say OK. OK. And my smart filter will change to only show the one model containing 9570 and a location containing CS. You can add multiple smart filters. The other option would be to use groups. You can click on New Group, give the group a name, in this example, CS Division. Say OK, the group is created and 0 devices associated with the group at the moment. But if I were to click on a device and on the right hand side pop-up comes, I can say add to groups. Then I can select the group to which I want to add this machine. Say OK. Now you'll see one device is associated to this group, and if I click on the group on the left side, it will quickly take me to the machines that are within this group. If I have multiple devices, I can simply click all the devices that I wish to link to this group and say add to group. Again, just confirm the group that you want to add it in case you have multiples or you want to create a new group, and say OK. Now you'll see 3 devices are linked to the CS Division group, and if I click on it, I'll be able to view the 3 devices quickly. Very similar to the smart filter scenario if I were to remove the edit to only search for the model containing 9570. All these filters can be deleted or modified. So in this case, the smart filter can be edited and deleted. The group itself, though, can only be renamed or deleted, since it's just a group naming. It doesn't actually contain any criteria like what is included with the smart filter with the AND OR. So for example, if I were to take away this criteria, then my smart filter will return back to 3 devices under the CS division, similar to what's in the group. Let's have a look at the settings that popped up when clicking on a device on the right hand side. First of all, on the top we can see the details. Here we can click on Show All or Show Less to show more or less tools. Keeping show all on, let's have a look at what we can see. First of all, you'll be able to see the model number, of course, the IP address, the current status of the device. When I click on details, I'll be able to see more details about the device, including the current consumable levels. First option that you can see under the details is to open the web interface. When you click on the open web interface, we'll be directed directly at the embedded web server of the device. We can then from here quickly add or remove a device to or from a selected group. We can export the device details to a CSV file. When we click on export, I'll just save it to my desktop. It's already there. I'll just replace it and then open the file. So this is what the exported CSV file will look like, containing all the details of the device. The last option is to delete the device from the device list itself. This is show list, so we can see more of the next options. So under instant tasks, we have a couple of tasks that can be completed. We can update the firmware. We can reboot the device. We can edit device settings. These two are quite self-explanatory. So let's look at edit device settings. When you open this, you'll be able to see the current device details. And then you'll be able to enter the password, change the boot method, change the node name, location, contact, and device password. The next option is to manage solutions. Similarly, you'll see the device on the left. You'll have to enter the device password, and then you could either browse for the license file or enter the 20-digit license code over here to activate special solutions on the device. These license file or license code has to be obtained from a local brother office. So the next option is to send files. Here we can basically send print files directly to the device or setting files. The next option is to backup settings. So if we click on backup settings, you'll see the device information again. Similarly, device password needs to be entered, and then we can browse a location to save the device settings to a settings file. This settings file can then later be used to send to another similar device to copy the settings from one device to another. The next option is to reset network settings. So by clicking reset network settings, this will allow you to enter the device password, of course, to have access to reset it. And then you basically reset the IP address, node name, location, and contact details stored within the machine. Let's click on show list. The next option will be to configure device lock. So if we click on settings, you'll see the device details on the left as usual and profiles on the right. We have no profile set up as of now. Click on edit. Then you'd have to create a new profile. Before we go into that, if you notice, this is within the application settings tab or pop-up. This is also accessible from the right hand top corner in the home screen. All the application settings. Let's create a new profile. So we can just keep the default name of device lock 1. We can set up a schedule. So every day, weekly, or monthly. In this example, let's just use monthly. We can set up a time or a specific period even if we want. Now you have the option to both send the email and save a local file to a specific location. To send the email, you'd have to set up a destination email address. Just use mine in this example. and then a sender address. This will have to be something which allows you to know from which machine this log file was retrieved. So I would just use the node name in this case. We can give it a specific subject and then say OK. So there's our profile created. Let's just go back to the profile. On the second tab on the right side here, we can actually specify the log file name and the information which will be contained within the log file. Status consumable, we can remove items that we do not wish to see in the log file. Then we can also choose the file format, either XML or CSV, and we can specify the date format. We can say OK and OK. So that would be our profile. If we click on it, it will tell us that we do have an error because we have not yet configured our email server settings. You have a quick link here to go to the email server settings, and you'll see this again is within the application settings pop-up where the device log and device notifications are. So email SMTP server address would have to be configured for the email logs. In this case, let's not apply the changes to this device. So similarly, on the device, you can also enter and do device notifications. If we go into settings, you'll see a similar screen. On the profiles on the right, we click on edit. You'll see the same pop-up appears from application settings where we could do the email server, device log, device notifications are there. We can add a profile, give the profile a name, destination email, the sender address again, just like we did in device logs. We can choose from the available languages to send the notifications in, and then we can choose what kind of notifications we want to see. So we could send specific notifications to specific departments or people. For example, you could send toner related notifications to your IT team to have the consumables replaced, and you could see hardware mechanical errors to your CS team to have technical problems attended to. Also tick this option in the bottom to send a verification email once the problem has been resolved. Now let's have a look at the remaining options available when you open the application. We've covered what's available on the left. We've covered what's available on the right when we click on a machine at the pop-up. The bottom over here will show critical statuses of devices. So devices with connection errors, and actually to view these devices, we can choose them from the drop down over here where we have all currently. We can say view all ready devices. So these will be all the ones in sleep mode or ready to use. Attention required. So these are the ones colored yellow. This has consumable errors currently, or notifications at least. Then all the devices having errors. So one device has a paper tray not being detected error. One device, that's the one on the right. If we look at connection errors, those are the two that were displayed over here. And if we look at unconfigured devices, there are 0 currently. So if we look here, we will see the statuses quickly, and then we can quickly filter for them here to find them. These two devices, for example. Then on the top here, we also have a refresh. This will refresh all the devices in the device list to get the current statuses. Next, we have discovery settings. So if we simply click on a discover button, we'd be able to discover all new active devices, or we can discover specific devices where we could enter specific IP addresses or node name or a IP address range, or we can even import an address list file to find our devices. The last option over here is to customize the column settings. When you click on this, we can choose which options to display on the device list details over here. So if you didn't want to see the IP address, for example, I could remove the IP address and say, okay, IP address would disappear. To place it back, simply click it on again, say okay, and IP address is back. Let's have a look at the application settings found on the top right hand side of the home page. As explained earlier, when the application settings pop-up opens, you'll find the first option that we can set is general. Under general, you can specify the language that the application should use. You can choose from available languages here. Then device status refresh. So rate basically, so here we can automatically update statuses, or we can specify a period, and we can also segregate this between network and USB devices. The next option for the device discovery. Here discovery method can be configured for LAN connected devices using either IP broadcast or IP unicast. For WAN connections, we can activate agent broadcast. In this instance, you'll have to have the agent software as well installed, called BRAdmin. And then we can also activate USB discovery method. Discovery schedule. Here we can have it by default ticked to discover upon application startup. But we can also set up auto discovery schedules. So we can do it every day, every week, every month, and specify a time and or a specific period like we've done in other schedule settings. Next up will be the network configuration. Here we can configure our network or a proxy. Then we have the email server. As explained before, if you want to send email notification, you'll have to configure or enter your email server details here. The next option is security. Here we can lock the application by providing a password. Device log and device notification we already covered. Device list allows you to send a list of devices on a schedule to specific people, and you can also save the device list to a folder location. The next option is our information. Here basically we can open the application log to check for errors within the application, or we can also check the version of the application, check for firmware updates, and see the license of the application. The last option is backup and restore application setting data. Here are two options. The first option allows you to backup or import all the settings, including device data and log data of BRAdmin 4. The second option is if you just want to use the INI file that only includes the application settings without the device and log data, which would be backed up or imported using this option. So let's have a look now at the Tasks tab. In Tasks, you have Instant Tasks, Device Log, device notification, device list, and discovery automation. In order to demonstrate these various tasks, I'll just go back to devices. I'll just choose our 3 smart filter or group devices for CS division. And then once I click on a machine, I'd have to actually go and activate the device lock or device notifications that have been set up earlier using your email server details. So let's just select all devices. Let me go and activate device logging on these devices and tick device log. Email server setting has already been pre-configured, and apply. So now it will say that device log has been updated with one profile and device log is mentioned at the bottom, whereas device notification still says no profile. And let's click on device notifications, activate our notification profile. Of course, this was created in an example earlier, just to show you again as a recap. Let's simply apply these to the 3 machines within the smart filter or individual devices. And I come back to all devices, go back to my smart filter, click on a device. I should see now that device log and device notifications are active on these 3 machines. So if we come over to tasks, I will now see that previously it was 0, but you can see now that there is an active device log and active device notifications targeted 3 devices, similarly with the device logs. I also set up the device list. So a device list CSV file will be sent to the email every day at 11. You can see this task already completed. I'll show you some examples of the actual emails received for device log, device notifications, and device list next. So let's look at device log. Basically, how the email will come. It will be called device report to the email address configured containing the CSV file, and if you open the CSV file, we would be able to get the log file of the products or devices. The notification email, the way it's been configured is to send one email notification upon the error occurring and one at the time of error resolution. So I'll just open the notification of the error. So cover open error was detected on the machine being monitored. And then once the cover was closed, a second email is received saying that the error has been resolved. Those are your notifications. Device list, again, you will just receive an email, and in that you'll have a CSV file containing the data of all the devices as shown on your devices tab here. How the task tab displays basically in 2 portions. The top section will be showing the current active tasks, and while they are in progress you should be able to see that. But these are currently active tasks. And there is no instant task, but if I were to send a setting to a specific machine, I would see it appear here. Once completed, it will move down to the task log. Similarly, all the device logs that have been completed will be logged in the bottom here to keep track of them. Device notifications, even the test email was sent to confirm the email server settings, and device list was also completed. Let me show you quickly how to do the email test. So to do a test email to see if the email server settings are correct, You can click either on device log, device notifications, or device list, anywhere where a task has been set up using the email server. Once you click on the actual task itself, if it's not already highlighted, then you'll be able to go and configure the settings of the task or send a test email. When you click on send test email, you can enter the email address you want to send to and then confirm, and a test email will be sent to that email address for verification. You can also deactivate these tasks from here. So generally, when tasks are completed into the log file, green will show completed task. It will be orange color for tasks that were not completed properly. Now let's have a look at discovery automation. So if we look and set up a new discovery automation, first option we're going to get is to name the discovery automation. I'll just keep it as the default as we've done in the other examples. Then we need to set up a target. So what we'll do is we'll use the smart filter as our target, and since we have a smart filter for CS division, say OK. Auto discovery will basically check based on the smart filter for new devices that have been allocated to the CS location. What we can then do is automatically apply device log and device notifications, or even add to the group if a new device is discovered containing CS in its location as set up in the smart filter previously. Then we can come and just confirm our device discovery settings. Here has been set up to discover devices every day at 10 AM in the morning. This of course can be changed, as we mentioned before about schedule settings, to a specified criteria that you would like. So in summary, what would happen is, as mentioned, if a new device was added onto the network allocated to CS division as a location, the device would automatically start giving device logs, device notifications, and it will be added to the CS group. We can then create, and you will see the discovery automation is now currently active. If we decide to later, we can deactivate this, modify the settings, export the setting, or actually just delete this discovery automation from here. That wraps up our overview of BRAdmin Professional 4. Hope you enjoyed the movie. See you next time.